strive to raise awareness about the 2023 ALICE report and shed light on the lives of ALICE families, we've joined forces with the Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg. Join us for the ALICE Data Walk on November 14th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Here to tell us more about the Data Walk is Josh Dunn, Vice President of Investments and Partnership Strategies at United Way Suncoast. Josh, welcome back to Suncoast Snapshot.
Thanks, Nicole.
Could you explain the primary goals of the ALICE Data Walk and how it aims to raise awareness about the 2023 ALICE report and the experiences of ALICE families?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thrust of the event is to give people an opportunity to engage with the information provided in the ALICE report. The Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg put on 2 different data walks earlier this year related to other publications, and we found that that was just a really awesome way to get people not only to hear the information, but actually talk about it and engage with it. Because if you receive information but don't put it to use, what was the point of putting it out there in the first place? Over a third of families in the state of Florida are ALICE. That holds true in our 5 counties. This information is relevant to every community, regardless of the county, town, zip code. There are ALICE families there, and the data that is within the report is helpful for us to build the collective capacity of our community to advocate on behalf of ALICE families. By engaging in a data walk beyond just sending a report out and asking people to read it, we can collectively and collaboratively build shared vocabulary around what is the issue, what are the systemic barriers that prevent ALICE families from rising and thriving, how can we put that information to use?
Thank you for summarizing the essence of the ALICE Data Walk. It is crucial to spread awareness about the challenges that ALICE families face. How does Meet the Johnsons simulation help participants grasp the financial struggles for ALICE families? And can you provide a brief overview of how this simulation operates?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I'll say that no simulation that we can put out there is meant to represent a family's true daily experience. What we want to do is bring attention to, again, those systemic barriers that result in those day-to-day challenges that our ALICE families face. So the way that the activity is designed is it takes points that are highlighted within the ALICE report that talk about, the cost of childcare, the cost of transportation, the cost of healthcare, and the barriers that are put in front of families toward getting the highest quality services that they deserve, their children deserve, that their grandparents deserve, cousins. We want to put those decisions out for people to react to. So if our ALICE report talks about that internet connectivity is difficult for families, we want to put that into context for people. So if you have to decide whether or not you are paying this wireless bill or investing in this coverage for your house, or if you're driving to the library to get Wi-Fi coverage, what are the cascading impacts about having to make little decisions like that day after day? And what we find is that if you can understand both the data that informs the challenges, the data that describes the challenges that ALICE families are facing, and then see it in a real life decision that you yourself may have had to make, then what we can do is accomplish that goal that I mentioned before. Put the data in conversation. Let's react to it. Let's understand the reality of it, not just accept it as a description, but actually something to act upon.
Yeah, the simulation seems like a valuable tool to foster empathy and understanding about financial struggles through ALICE families and provides a practical experience. What are the expected outcomes of the concluding community conversations that concludes this event? And how will you promote active and meaningful participation in this phase?
Yeah, so when folks come to the data walk, what they should expect is a brief introduction to the ALICE report, why the data is important, leading into the Meet the Johnsons activity. Straight from there, we're going to be asking participants to think about what came up for them, what questions, reactions as they were going through the activity. While they go around the center space, and engage with some of the highlighted data that we're going to pull out from the report for folks to engage in. Once they've had an opportunity to walk through those selected data points and have that conversation amongst themselves, we're going to ask folks to return to their tables and engage with it in a conversation that's not what questions do you have about the Alice report or what did you learn about the Alice report, but rather what do you see in your daily life that's reflective of the information that you saw in the Alice report? What can we collectively do to take action on the information that we see? When we see that a family of 4 with 2 in childcare in Pinellas County has to be earning at a minimum 83,000, more likely 90,000 or above to make ends meet and begin to save and plan for their future, like, this is a very real decision. So when we're asking people to engage in this conversation, we're recognizing both the urgency of it as well as the collective nature of it. When United Way Suncoast, we say we are Alice because we truly are. When you're talking about income levels at that level, that is inclusive of a wide swath of individuals and professions, right? This is not individuals who made bad choices. This is a systemic issue that is keeping families from being able to live out the best opportunities for themselves and for their children. So we want to hear from the participants directly. What is it that the Foundation for Healthy Safe Peak can be doing? What is it that United Way Suncoast can be doing? And what is it as a collective that we can be doing to advocate for change?
Yeah, that's an excellent approach and provides a platform to encourage active participation. How will you motivate attendees to take action and support agencies aiding Alice families post-event? And what specific calls to action will be presented?
One of our strategies at United Way Suncoast to make sure that our community investments are having the impact that we intend is to build the capacity of our nonprofit ecosystem to take action. One of the ways that we build that capacity is by providing data tools like the Alice report, so that when individual organizations are having conversations with a new donor or even a recurring donor or one of their local school board members or state legislators, that they have a framework that they can just lift up from our Alice report and from our Alice conversations and use that in their conversations. So when you talk about a specific ask, we will have an example within the Alice report where you can go in and say, I live in this congressional district, and this is what's happening for Alice families in that specific district. And what our hope is that when you go about those conversations with policymakers or even just a friend who may know a friend who's got somebody in the mayor's office, right, that we're using this vocabulary and lifting up from the report, okay, in District 703, this is what's happening and this is the characteristics. And so our hope and our intention is that when folks leave, they're not only impacted by the information in the report, not only do we have a shared vocabulary about talking for Alice, but that when you go out and advocate, you have the tools necessary without having to reinvent the wheel to get at the meat of why we need to intervene on behalf of Alice families. And I will say as well, the timing of our event is in the middle of this Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg review phase for a recent funding application that they put out. And so the results of that and the programs that get funded and the collaborations that are yielded from that application phase will also be able to be armed with this Alice information to continue to leverage additional dollars for those programs and report back specifically the impact for individuals living in South St. Petersburg.
Thank you. I appreciate you outlining the clear calls to action. At United Way, we all work together to make meaningful and lasting impacts on the Alice families and our community. Josh, I appreciate you taking the time today to discuss the data walk.
Absolutely.
Thank you. To register and sign up for the data walk presentation, please visit hereatthecenter.org and scroll down to events at the center and click events calendar. From there, you will scroll down to November of 2023 and register for the Alice, a data walk about living paycheck to paycheck. We look forward to seeing you there. And as always, remember, united we rise,
united we win.